Spider-Man 3 is a 2007 American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics character Spider-Man. It's produced by Columbia Pictures, Marvel Entertainment, and Laura Ziskin Productions, and distributed by Sony Pictures Releasing. It was directed by Sam Raimi from a screenplay he co-wrote with his brother Ivan and Alvin Sargent. It is the final installment in Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy, and the sequel to Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. The film stars Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker Spider-Man, alongside Kirsten Dunst, James Franco, Thomas Hayden Church, Topher Grace, Bryce Dallas Howard, James Cromwell, Rosemary Harris, and J.K. Simmons. It also marks the final acting appearance of Cliff Robertson before he retires from acting in the same year in his subsequent death in 2011. Set a year after the events of Spider-Man 2, the film follows Peter Parker as he prepares for his future with Mary Jane Watson, while facing Uncle Ben's true killer. The development of Spider-Man 3 began immediately after the successful release of Spider-Man 2 for a 2007 release. During pre-production, Raimi wanted two villains, Harry Osborn and Sandman. At the request of producer Avi Arad, he added Venom to the list. And the producers also requested the addition of Gwen Stacy. Principal photography for the film began in January 2006 and took place in Los Angeles and Cleveland, before moving to New York City from May until July 2006. Additional pickup shots were made after August, and the film wrapped in October 2006. During post-production, Sony Pictures Imageworks created over 900 visual effects shots. Composer Danny Elfman, who had scored the previous installments, decided not to return due to creative differences and conflicts with Raimi during the production of the previous film. So Christopher Young composed the score in Elfman's absence. With an estimated production budget of $258 to $350 million, the film was the most expensive film ever made at the time of its release. Spider-Man 3 premiered on April 16, 2007, in Tokyo, and was released in the United States in both conventional and IMAX theaters on May 4th. The film grossed $891 million worldwide, making it the highest-grossing film of the trilogy, the third highest-grossing film of 2007, and the 10th highest-grossing film of all time at the time of its release. It was also the highest-grossing Spider-Man film until it was surpassed by Spider-Man Far From Home in 2019, and Raimi's highest-grossing film until it was surpassed by Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Unlike the previous installments, Spider-Man 3 received mixed reviews from critics. A fourth installment, titled Spider-Man 4, was set to be released on May 6, 2011, followed by a Venom spin-off film, along with a fifth and sixth installment, titled Spider-Man 5 and Spider-Man 6, respectively, but all were canceled. The Spider-Man film series was rebooted twice. First with The Amazing Spider-Man by Mark Webb and starring Andrew Garfield, and later a new film series set within the Marvel Cinematic Universe directed by John Watts and starring Tom Holland, beginning with Spider-Man: Homecoming. Spider-Man: No Way Home explored the concept of the multiverse to connect the previous films and characters to the MCU, with Maguire and Church reprising their roles in the film. A Venom film sequel, L, and a second sequel featuring another version of the Eddie Brock character were eventually produced and released in 2018, 2021, and 2024, respectively. 2 years after Otto Octavius' sacrifice, Peter Parker plans to propose to Mary Jane Watson, who has made her Broadway musical debut. In Central Park, a meteorite lands nearby during their date, from which an extraterrestrial symbiote oozes out and follows Peter to his apartment by attaching to his motorbike. Harry Osborn, knowing Peter is Spider-Man, seeks to avenge his father's death, using Norman's performance-enhancing gas and Green Goblin technology. He battles Peter to an eventual stalemate, developing partial amnesia after falling from his glider. Meanwhile, police pursue escaped convict Flint Marko, who visits his wife and sick daughter before fleeing. He falls into an experimental particle accelerator that fuses his body with the surrounding sand and gains the ability to control and reform his body with sand, becoming Sandman. During a festival honoring Spider-Man for saving Gwen Stacy's life, Peter kisses her to please the crowd, angering Mary Jane. Marko then robs an armored truck and escapes after a duel with Spider-Man. NYPD Captain George Stacy, Gwen's father, informs Peter and his Aunt May that Marko is Uncleben's true killer. The initial suspect was simply Marko's accomplice. While waiting for Marko to emerge from hiding, the symbiote assimilates Peter's suit as he sleeps in it. Peter awakens on top of a building, discovering that the symbiote has turned his suit black and enhanced his powers, but it also heightens his aggression. Peter battles Marko in a subway. Finding that water weakens him, Peter opens a pipe, turning Marko into mud and washing him away. Peter's new attitude alienates Mary Jane, who kisses Harry and departs regretfully. A hallucination of his father prompts Harry to recover from amnesia and force Mary Jane to break up with Peter. Later, Harry tells Peter that Mary Jane is dating him. Under the symbiote's influence, Peter fights Harry, spitefully claiming his father never loved him. As Peter leaves, Harry throws a pumpkin bomb, which Peter deflects, disfiguring Harry's face. At the Daily Bugle, Peter exposes rival photographer Eddie Brock, whose fake photos incriminate Spider-Man. Publisher J. Jonah Jameson, outraged at Eddie's false photo and having to print a retraction, fires Brock and promotes Peter to staff photographer. Later, Peter brings Gwen to a jazz club where Mary Jane now works, in an attempt to make her jealous. Upon realizing Peter's true intentions, Gwen apologizes to Mary Jane and leaves. After assaulting the bouncers and accidentally hitting Mary Jane, Peter realizes that the symbiote is corrupting him. Retreating to a church's bell tower and discovering that the sounds of clanging metal weaken the creature, Peter removes the symbiote. Seeing the event from the pews below, Brock becomes the symbiote's new host and turns into venom. Brock locates a still-living Marko and convinces him to join forces to kill Spider-Man. Brock abducts Mary Jane and holds her captive from a web at a construction site, intending to kill her in revenge for Peter ruining him, while Marko keeps the police at bay. After a nouse card, Harry declines to help Peter. Harry's butler reveals that Norman's death was not Spider-Man's fault. While Brock and Marko pin Peter down, Harry arrives to help Peter and save Mary Jane. Brock attempts to impale Peter with Harry's glider, but Harry jumps in and is impaled instead. While remembering the symbiote's weakness, Peter assembles a perimeter of metal pipes to create a sonic attack, weakening it and allowing Peter to separate Brock from the symbiote. Peter activates a pumpkin bomb and throws it at the hostless symbiote. Having become addicted to its influence, Brock tries saving the symbiote, but both are vaporized. Marko explains that Ben's death was an accident that has haunted him, and that everything he has done was to help his daughter. Peter forgives Marko, allowing him to escape. Peter and Harry reconcile before the latter dies from his injuries. Sometime after Harry's funeral, Peter visits Mary Jane at the jazz club, where they embrace and share a dance.